Hey there, the book that I'm going to talk about today is finishing up the series that I started to talk about forever ago, probably like a month or 2 months ago. It's just but anyway, they are in fact the Miss Perigrines trilogy by Ransom Riggs, specifically Library of Souls, but I'm also going to talk about the series as a whole for a little bit, not too much, because when I try to talk about the whole thing a whole bunch, it's too long and too uninteresting. So, specifically this book, but I am going to talk about these two just a little bit to just kind of refresh your memory. So, moving on. So we start off in the first book with our protagonist, Jacob Portman, who is living in Florida, not really happy with his life kind of thing. He has a grandfather that he really likes and loves, but it's just a complicated situation, and his grandfather dies on mysterious circumstances, goes and checks him out, and things happen. He ends up in Wales. He meets some strange people, these people, and, yeah, moving on. And now for the one that I was originally going to talk about for this video, Library of Souls, which... It wraps up the story very well. I'm going to go ahead and say the ending is wonderful, it is satisfying, but more on that in a minute. In this book, Jacob is trying to figure out what this whole thing with Miss Peregrine's brother is, what is going on with Caul, this guy named Caul, C-A-U-L, not call somebody or whatever. This guy is just all kinds of crazy and terrifying, and they find out that, spoiler alert, he is in fact Miss Peregrine's brother, and they meet somebody else who's Mr. Bentham. Mr. Bentham is their brother as well. Spoiler over. But yeah, Jacob gets more adept at controlling the hologasts. He gets stronger. He gets more... It's just altogether more intense and more wonderful. A Library of Souls, it does end up with several new characters, including this lady right here, who I'm not going to tell you too much about, but needless to say, she has not had a great life of it so far. This is her friend and interpreter because she can't really talk because her mouth is missing bits. And so all in all, it's just really not a great time to be this particular lady. But however, the book, while I agree that the ending can be considered a bit cartoony. Well, when I say cartoony, I don't mean like Mickey Mouse cartoony. I mean like Superman or Spider-Man cartoony from like the early 2000s, where there's these big gigantic it's a gigantic boss battle basically. I mean, to be honest, it is a little cartoony, but I loved it while I was reading it. It is amazing. It's not what you would expect, honestly, from the rest of the series, but it is actually very well done, I think, in the context of the book. And after that, it doesn't last very long if you don't really like that kind of a thing. It doesn't last very long, and it gets back to the normal YA novel type stuff after that. It gets to the emotional turmoils going on and all that kind of stuff. It does end up, there are some hard decisions made by Jacob and Emma. Then later, those decisions didn't really work out, so the hard decisions are really no longer necessary, so everything ends up really, really happy and really, really good, and I think this is probably the most satisfying ending to a book that I've had, possibly ever. Maybe only eclipsed by one book that I'm about to talk about in a minute. But yes, that is Library of Souls, and that is Miss Peregrine's trilogy. If you don't like the way I talked about it, then that's fine, but let me know how you would prefer me to talk about it later, because feedback is the only way I know how to improve. So now for the unimportant announcement stuff. Seeing as it has been several weeks, months really, since I've made a video, I have read a few books since then, and I'm going to tell you exactly what those are so you know what you might be getting into with the next couple of videos. And they are, starting with the first, kind of, and then moving on from there, is the remainder of the Harry Potter series. Books 5, 6, and 7. And, this is the first time I've read through Harry Potter. If you didn't know, yes, I did watch all the movies. Yes, it's okay to hit me if you wish. But, I died a little inside when I finished it because, oh my goodness, is it wonderful, and I love it, and I hate it, and it's glorious, and it's terrible. Harry Potter is amazing. Anyway, moving on, like I said, I'm going to talk about Harry Potter in a gigantic chunk in one big video. Probably like 20 minutes of rambling and crying. But anyway, moving on from that. Oh, that's considerably lighter. First and Then by Emma Mills, I also finished It is wonderful. It is her first attempt. It's Emma first attempt at writing a novel, and I love it to death. But I'm going to talk about it later. Moving on to the next one, Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. It is my favorite book of all time, and I think I can say that with a lot of confidence because, oh my word, is it perfect. It is amazing, it is wonderful, and it's throwing the white balance off. But it is nice. It's so wonderful. I love it to death. 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 I'm going to make a video about this one, and it's probably going to be really long and really weepy, and it's not going to talk about the formatting of the book or the symbolism or anything. It's just going to be crying a lot. But it is a wonderful thing, and I recommend it highly. Before I move on to anything else, read this book because it will change your life forever. I love it to death. It might not change your life forever, but it did change my life forever. So it might do that for you as well. If it doesn't, then that's fine. It's just... Now, moving on to the book that I'm currently reading, A Separate Piece by Knowles. And I know this is a little bit of an older one, but it's in the same realm as Speak, whereas it's kind of like a short YA novel told in the first person with a lot of emotional turmoil going on and things, blah, blah, blah. I will talk about this one when I'm done with it, but right now this is the only book that I'm reading. So that's nearly all I got for you today. I do want to say thank you to the people that watch to the end of these things. If you do, if you don't, then that's fine. But if you do, that'd be wonderful. And to all of the newer subscribers, I've never really shown any gratitude for the people who have subscribed to the channel before. So I just want to say, the 11 of you, currently 11, that have subscribed to me, thank you for that. It may be 10 or 9 by now, but whatever. Right now it's 11. So I just really want to thank everybody who's taken the time out to watch any of my videos, to think about them, to like them, to comment on them, and I would really appreciate your feedback. People who would come back to watch more of this. If you would like to make it more good, make it better, make it more cohesive, make it more structured, whatever you want to do, just let me know, and I will take every comment that I can think of into account. Anyway, enough rambling aside, thank you very much for watching. So I will see you in the next video with the next book. Goodbye!